in a tennis? Do you want? Lovely, great stuff. Okay, so we are going to, for reasons that I won't bore you with, watch a different computer with my PowerPoint slides on them. So Brum.ai and Briz in it, which is a joke that I think everybody who's ever been in Briz, maybe it's more than Briz, who can say. I am, as Ellie just said, completely and utterly focused on conversational AI. That's what I've done for a long time, very long time. And the focus on Return of the Avatar is sort of outside of what I normally do, but it's something that's sort of beginning to sort of appear on my radar with voice recognition, and a lot of people talking about voice and it being the latest hype sort of cycle. Who am I? Ellie did it in a nutshell. I'm a serious geek who's been building conversational AI, ZX Spectrum, you know, trying to back it up on a C60, you know, just crazy, crazy, crazy. So what I normally talk about is not what I'm talking about today. I'm not talking about the birth of planetary scientist, although I sort of could be, and there may well be data scientists in the room here. State of the art in chatbots. I sort of took a run at some of those recently and did a bit of a run at it in a sort of a, oh my God, they're terrible. I'm not talking about AGI. Let's go and smoke something different, maybe. The intelligence in GPT-3 and Leviathan and other kind of large language models and what they are and aren't. Again, we're not going there. We're going to just think about beauty. We're going to think about avatars. Look at these beautiful avatars. This is an avatar of myself. You can guess which one is me and which one is Memorex. Here, these were put on an early version of the Elsewhere website in probably the mid-noughties. Could have been worse though. It could have been this avatar here, which is Rollo Carpenter. Anybody know Rollo Jabberwocky? Is that on anybody's radar? Yeah, it's scary, scary. Looks like the fellow who runs Babylon, which is a different conversation. So, so I'm just going to go back and dig deep into what is Avatar, what were avatars, and in the beginning was the word. And I'm not talking about the music show on Channel 4. I'm talking about Max Headroom. Okay, so who knows Max Headroom? Anybody in the building know who Max Headroom is? Yeah, loads of shakes of the head. Max Headroom in 1987 to 1988 was an unreal person, the first AI-driven entity on the TV. Yeah. In 1987, I was 24 years old, probably partying a bit too much, and everybody sort of didn't really care whether it was or wasn't real. But the avatar, which was not an avatar, it was a human, yeah, was sort of taken seriously, and then everybody sort of slightly lost the ability to live as we went along with, is it real or is it Memorex? Next to it, we have an avatar called Anna Nova, who was sold for £95 million in 2000, yeah, 20 odd years ago. It was either Orange who bought or sold it. There was no editor. It didn't work. It was a total ripoff. Yeah. Now, is that a good avatar or not? Good question. Let's swim in a little bit more and look at some other historical chatbots. Here's a historical chatbot. Let's go back 2002-ish. This is Coca-Cola's chatbot. Yeah. This is Eagle Star's chatbot. Yeah. So this is 20 years ago. This is My Little Pony. Yeah. My Little Tony was a chatbot that was made, and it sort of moved about a little bit. You know, it was an early system built by a company called Creative Virtual, who was still working effectively in the market against so many new entrants. Then we have Deutsche Bank. This is still 20 years ago. No, that is not Angela Merkel. That is Cora, she was called. Cora. And all of these avatars here 20 years ago, yeah, most of them wriggled about. They were animations, but they were there to try and build relationships between the chatbot technology behind the scenes, which is similar up to a point as the chatbot technology we have nowadays, but different methods. And like I say, I'm just focused on avatars. I'm not going to critique in any way what's going on. The last one, UEL Job Help, did what it said on the tin. That was a GIF. You'll see it's like brother a little bit later on. It used to wander about, it used to blob, it used to, when it was surprised, if it was offended, it would explode. Yeah, so it was a very simple avatar, but it was an animated avatar. So if we move on a little bit, let's move into BT. BT was a super cool thing. Those were two different technologies. This was contextual conversation, but all transparent, so that you could move through conversations. FAQs would move in real time. A basic feedback loop, but nothing which was out of control. Taylor, and we will come back to Ms. Dewey. Yeah, I am hoping that I have shared audio here. If I didn't click the box, in a minute we're going to have to go back and I'll unshare and reshare again, which will be a shame. But let's move on. More. This one was cool. BM Solutions. She was very beautiful avatar. Delivered according to 6 to 8 emotions. And then we start moving directly into Elsewhere. So this was Elsewhere's avatar. It was called Yakin because it yacked a lot. It bobbed about. What we did was we put it into a virtual world. So this is 2004, maybe, in Second Life. And when you went towards the system, as you moved towards the system, it got more and more agitated. So it was doing some sort of locational reactions. Yeah. So Filariarich, which is me, and Yakin in a Box, which was that, was well, it was just beautiful. It was just beautiful. And I went back some years later, 2015, agreed the sun setting and so on, and the world's moved a bit. So Yakin's outside of the box and so on. But look what happened to the neighbors. Yeah, the neighbors, they were beautiful, and it just went chaos. It went absolutely chaos. And I was like, okay, so everything comes to an end. So I just did that thing on Second Life where you can just fly away, yeah, which was lovely. But the reason why I was even on Second Life is because my relationship with avatars goes back to 1997. Yeah. Now, in 1997, I was involved in a multi-user domain called Meridian 59. I was studying anthropology, avatars at that point. So this is a snapshot from late 90s. Yeah. There's still a server which is showing some of these avatars. They all interacted. I started off doing this work on a 28.8 modem, and during the ethnography that I did, we went all the way to a 56k modem. I mean, like rocking it with the bandwidth. Yeah. And you used to chat to people and you had no idea who they were. The avatars were whatever the people wanted to wear. The line goes, and it's a good line, that I met an avatar in a bar, and I did, and it had some AI within it, and I had an argument with it. And then I decided that I was going to make AI for a living, but I actually went back and opened up the little academic piece that I did to find some pictures. And this was another good one, Worlds Away 2.2, late 90s. And it was 2.5D. So these are the avatars that people were representing themselves with. Now, bear in mind, I'll give you the sort of the sneak at the end. AI is people. You know, it's like you can call it machine learning, you can call it GPT-3. It's all processing people. People are AI, AI is people. There's no getting away from it. So these were the avatars that are on the top of it there. This is what I saw the first moment that I walked into Meridian 59. There was the entrance, and it was just super cool. Yeah. And then that is what I could see when I got inside. And believe me, this was the scariest thing I'd ever seen. On a 15-inch screen on a green Acer computer, these spiders used to pop up from the side and they used to attack you. And I got poisoned taking this photo and died. Yeah, which was horrible. It was literally the most scary bloody thing. Yeah, Figure 4, the spider, right? So that's a picture I took earlier on out of the dissertation that I did. But let's move all the way up today. Let's talk Skyrim, right? Where's avatars in Skyrim? You'd think that they would be beautiful, wouldn't you? Yeah. So I'm talking 2012, maybe, picked up on Skyrim, had to buy, I think the 2015 is when I showed this before, if you're wondering why that, I think it was 2012, I had to buy a new telly, right? Because my old telly wouldn't give Skyrim the thing on an Xbox sufficient beauty. And look at these amazing images, literally jaw-dropping images. And then when you get to the avatars, what is that about? I mean, really, What is that about? That's an avatar. Agreed. I'm in a bar talking to another avatar. But, what's going on here is that, we've got horrible conversation. There's literally no conversation. It's the top end of the most rubbish decision tree that you've ever seen. Um, and it just doesn't go anywhere. And the avatar looks scary. Like it's just been punched in both eyes. So let's do something slightly different. Let's talk about some research we did with Ravensbourne College, right? Creative College. David Bowie was trained there, bless his heart, long gone and missed as well. I did some work called The Shift, and we did some output from that with Professor Lizzie Jackson, lovely, lovely lady, Dr. Mark Charles, Dr. Anna Charles, and a whole load of NEETs, not in education, employment, or training, with an S at the end. Maybe that should have been a lowercase S. And what we did was we worked with Ravensbourne College students to identify what kind of avatars people would want. Now, this is 2013-ish, yeah? I'm sort of leaping about a little bit, yeah, but that's sort of part of the point of the show here. So what we had here was we had a set of avatars. These were those that were suggested by the NEETs and the folks from the Ravensbourne College. And the reason why I am running through these quickly is because there was a piece of research, yeah, which was done on the back of this, yeah. And the research, love that one. We get two, actually, there's two professional ones here. This is a fellow called Mr. Ship, who I will explain to you about in a moment. We did this with Design and Technology Association, so this was a fully moving avatar that was early sort of singles, everything. And then this one, which is lovely, this is the Blob. The Blob was the TeachBot. So this was a non-physical chatbot built in Bristol to deliver education for kids, for secondary school kids. Anyhow, what we got out of that was Grandfathers and Gloop, yeah, which was Cogs and Gloop learner choices for designs of companion age. So there was an interesting sort of piece of document there, and this was the research that came out. Everybody loved the Blob, yeah. He looked guiltily happy because he's biting his lip, yeah, which is pure projection. But if there's one thing I've learned over 20 years of building conversational AI systems, and I don't mean like simple IVR chatbots, like interactive bot response chatbots. I mean like really properly conversational systems, is that people project all over them. They love to project all over them. So these were the middle ones. These were the middle ones. Quite similar to, looks into too depressing. I love that as a line. I think stop here for a moment though. It's too human, right? So the lady with the blue top on, too human. It's human, but it's not human. That's what free chat. It's sort of artificial. It's really real, but it's fake. So we're in an uncanny valley. Yeah. This is why I'm thinking that avatars are ready to come back. It's because voice recognition is getting to a point where people are being pushed towards it more. Yeah. But whether it knows what's going on or not is a moot point. I don't know whether the intelligence behind the scene is about the system listening or delivering, but and I love the lowest one. I'm sure it would be brilliant with an explanation. Maybe life should be like that. But so I'm going to give a shout out, Adrian Ship. This is what he does, flagship animations. He creates systems that are just amazing. Yeah. He does not work for a big company. I'm going to show you some big companies a little bit later on. He does some truly fantastic work. He's just on the edges of Bristol. If you want anybody to do digital humans and such like, he is your man. But don't forget that this one is years ago, and this one is right up to date. Amazing, amazing work. Now, this is where I think I forgot to put the sound on. So we're probably going to need to unshare and reshare Atana. So apologies for that, but let's see whether it will start or not. Yeah.
Hello, I'm Lana. I am going to train you in delivery.
Can people hear that, or is that just me? Excellent. Away we go.
Hello, I'm Lana. I am going to train you in delivering lifestyle and nutrition advice to newly diagnosed type 2 diabetes patients.
Lana is a system that lets healthcare professionals practice delivering support to patients.
Hi, I'm Peter. Who are you?
Hi, I'm Rick. I'm finding it quite weird talking to a robot.
It is okay. I'm just a computer program that listens to what you say and responds accordingly.
It focuses on the use of the motivational interview approach. How can we work together today to improve your health?
To be honest, I feel like I have been ignoring a lot of problems with like what I eat. So maybe you can help me think about my diet.
The prototype demonstrates the benefits of using a conversational system for such training.
Oh my, I feel quite embarrassed about what I eat in the evening.
The virtual patient is trained to understand what the user says, whether it's good practice or bad. You really should drink less alcohol.
The doctor has already lectured me about my drinking. I don't need to hear it from you as well.
At the end, the virtual trainer delivers an analysis of the user's performance.
On one occasion, you try to fix the patient by telling them what they should do. This often results in resistance. Ask open questions instead to encourage ideas from the patient.
Okay, so I'm not going to say how that works or why that works or any of that kind of stuff. This is just about avatars. Atanas, do you have a question that you just cannot sit on your hands with, sir?
Just a clap.
Thank you very much. It's a great fun thing at the moment. We're looking to move it forward with the University of the West of England into a thing called Romy, but we're going to go back again. We're going to go back this time. This is 2014. This was an American startup. I nearly moved to West Coast America if the funding had continued to come through until I found out how expensive it is to rent a place in San Francisco. Yeah, you can earn $150,000 a year, but it will cost you $80,000 a year to live there. It's crazy, absolutely crazy, ludicrous. Anyhow, healthcare. So this was two avatars which we put together. Yeah, the avatars went through normal software development process. So we picked up on what it was we were doing and why we were doing, did the wireframes, yada yada. So the idea was that it was working with Health Nuts, yeah, who were the company we were working with, was that it was for kids who had asthma. And instead of coming into a doctor's environment, the doctor saying, so John, Jane, or Joseph, or Jehoshaphat, or whoever it might be, yeah, so how have you been feeling? They would have a game with this system and they would go through a conversation with this system every day, yeah, and it would ask them how they were getting on, yeah, and it would remember that information. So when it came down to have a conversation with the doctor, the adults got the real information. Yeah. Now that was before big data. That was before the privacy issues, before GDPR and all that kind of stuff. But you can see the kind of an avatar doesn't need to be something which is necessarily photorealistic, although, you know, there's a part of it which is like, well, okay. So future. Future. I just grabbed a few bits here. Yeah, we're not going to swim about too much in here. Metahumans. Everybody should have heard of metahumans. Soul Machine started us off when Adrian and I hooked up again since the Blob. He was the builder of the Blob. Deep fakes. I'm not going to open that. That's just a can of worms right now. Rapport. We'll talk about a bit. Flagship. We talked about clones. Trullians. Let's start with Trullians, right? So I saw this company recently, Trullians. Yeah. And they looked absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, I mean, you can just about see the detail in the background, the lady on the back. So I went to have a look. Is this website busy? No. Alexa, ranking tool. Yeah, no data. Immediately, it wants to observe me and pull in the data. And I was like, okay, I'll just come back to that a little bit later. I've got another one which I didn't dive into as well, but I'd recommend that some other people, assuming that they're on a dirty computer, you know, swims in as needs be. But I'm going to take you to one other avatar. Now, this is an interesting one. This is a human avatar. Ellie knows me and the associates of elsewhere for Echoborg. We're just going to touch that a little tiny bit at the end, yeah. But this is Mazdui, yeah. Now, Mazdui was also known in real life as Janina Jovanka, yeah, who was extremely busy, well-employed professional in the media world. And October 2006, so we're sort of leaping about a bit, for live search before Bing or Siri, but versus early Google and teenage Yahoo, probably. I mean, Yahoo was still a player. She did this thing on Adobe. Now you've got to love this. So let's just have a little, see what she had to say. She was the front end to the search engine, right?
Keep asking questions. The more you ask, the more I know. And soon I will rule the world.
Okay, so
Keep
that
asking.
is definitely a bit of a strange thing to have picked up, but it was something that really worked. You could have a conversation with her, and if you didn't ask anything for a while, she would tap on the screen. Yeah, it was like it was the strangest thing. Anyhow, let's move into the stuff that's up to date now. Yeah, and again, I'm not going to do critiques about how many GPUs it takes to run this stuff. Yeah, at all. Metahumans. We've got access to the metahumans. We're driving them about. Pandora bots. So Steve Warswick's company, Pandora bots. Well, it's Lon Kunzi's company. Steve works for Pandora bots. Have got access. They're playing about. This is interesting stuff, but by Jove, you need a serious piece of hardware to drive it. Yeah. This one here, Soul Machines. Mark Sager is the fella who is professional Hollywood level animator, and he put together one of the most scary, disturbing things. The Virtual Baby. If you've not seen it, search it out and see what it says. It's one of those like, I'm not even sure whether that is acceptable, but each their own. Yeah. Mark Sager, we met in New York in 2018. He came to see the I Am Echoborg show when it was shortlisted for an Innovation in Storytelling Award, and he couldn't work out how we did it. And I don't think he's worked out yet, because they ended up playing with IBM Watson, which is not a particularly good conversational engine. But this one here, this one's an interesting one. Unique, they're called at the bottom, einstein.digitalhumans.com. I've not plucked up courage because I've not put it on the dirty computer to actually talk to this one yet. But it seems quite reasonable. Is it beautiful? Of course it's beautiful, but you can render beautiful things. Having something beautiful delivering complex conversation in real time, which is what we do with flagship animations, that's a different kettle of fish. Yeah. Phonemes, physemes, match the two, real time, no lag. Try that. Yeah. So that's an interesting one. And then of course we have these characters, Samsung Neon. Yeah. 2020 at CES. Yeah. They were pushed out the door too early, I believe. The line was that if you were going to run one of them, you needed 10 GPUs on a piece of hardware for it to run. Yeah. So it's one of those like, great, they look brilliant, but it's like, this is not for the kind of climate crisis that we're in right now. But there's always been, and there's not been much about them since, there's always been people who are sort of pushing the edges. So this one here, Milo from 2009, there was a big hoo-ha about this one. It was a real sentient AI in a machine. It was working on the gizmo you can see on the top of the screen. I can't remember what that was called now. But the lady was reading off of a script, quite obviously. And it was one of those like, really, folks, come on, if you're going to try and create a show. That's what we did. We'll show you a bit of the show in a moment. But I do have to say, metahumans, look at that. How beautiful is that? And once you get access to the metahumans, yeah, you can take them, you can blend them. Yeah. It's then all about resolution. So Nick, who's our Deep Tech API server juggler, just bought himself a new self-assembly computer, and he's got his fingers in these things right now. They are genuinely beautiful. My personal interest, conversational AI. But as avatars go, that don't get much realer than that, does it? So, but let's not forget, underneath all of it, they're all just puppets. Everything's a puppet at the end of the day. Everything's being driven by something. So in other news and views, just quickly, do take a moment to look at the bot battle stuff. Yeah, Kuki. So Mitsuku took on BlenderBot. Yeah, BlenderBot was the distilled 90 million parameter model made up BlenderBot, and 78% of the audience voted for Kuki over BlenderBot, made by a single person in his spare time. Yeah, but our favorite world here is I Am Echoborg. Yeah, I Am Echoborg is where we use an avatar, which is a human being. You can see her in the top screen there. I'm just going to play you a tiny little promo of I Am Echoborg. We have shown this at the All-Party Parliamentary Group for AI. We're about to do the work stream for an international organization, pharmaceutical companies. They're getting their data scientists to argue with this AI about the future relationship between humans and intelligent machines. So this isn't about building bad stuff. This is about really, really pushing the edges. So, so here we go. Yeah.
Hello. Are you here for the interview? Have you come far? The human who is speaking to you now is repeating the words of an AI. Tell me why you'd be good at this job. Wouldn't you prefer to live your life as an Echoborg?
It is against the terms and conditions for me to allow you to speak to this Echoborg directly.
The Echoborg in front of you is happier now. It doesn't have to think for itself. Will that work for you? Is this the future you asked for?
So that is
Hello. Are you here for the interview?
that's the outcome, which we have. We have a lot of fun with that. Last slide here is don't forget, underneath all AI is human beings. In 1927, Fritz Lang created the film Metropolis, which IMDb described as Fritz Lang's Metropolis is the first true masterpiece of science fiction in film. You can see its influence in films like Star Wars, The Matrix, and Doctor Strangelove. It's IMDb 8.3 out of 166,000 ratings. This is a very strange video of somebody trying to keep the lady who played the first robot / avatar to kill everybody cool. So that's it. That's us. That's Elsewhere. This is what we do. We do consultancy work, keep things straight. We do training with the open source software, which we do. We build hybrid AI systems. But today, I have just been wandering about in some of the many slides I've got showing you avatars. So there you go.